What's going on, guys? So we've got 5 16-foot garage doors, which in the summer are really nice because we can open them and pretty much leave them open all summer long. But when it comes to the fall like it is now or into the winter, it becomes a little bit more of a bummer and a downside because we have no natural light in here. There's no windows, the doors are too cold to be opened. And what I'm gonna show you guys today is how we're gonna turn this 16-foot by 20-foot garage door into an operating window. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a coat of paint on all the 2x4s. It's gonna be kind of the primary skeleton of what is gonna create the window. The primer in white, that's all I'm gonna do, is gonna help it look a whole lot more finished. So it probably helps keep them from like twisting up a little bit. I'm not worried about being perfect, but it will make a really big difference when everything or the frame is white once the thing is completely up. All right, so I got a good amount of the lumber painted, or the 2x4s painted, and I've started building the frame. So I'll build this kind of in 2 tiers, and I'll stick frame it much like you would kind of a normal framing situation. It's not quite perfect, so it's easier to stick frame it than it is to build it on the ground and fold it up, which will certainly be a little bit faster. But also, these don't get framed like a normal wall where the 2x4s are perpendicular, where it's structural. I'm actually gonna be sandwiching the plexiglass in between 2 2x4s to create the window. But I'll pretty much work my way across. As you guys can see, part of that's up right now. But I'll work my way from the left to the right, building one window at a time, ensuring that everything kind of fits how it should, because not everything's kind of plumb or square, and it's going up piece by piece. And they are pretty flexible, so they're really solid once they're in, but in the meantime, they're kind of flexible getting in there, so it's a whole lot easier to do that one panel at a time, make sure everything fits correctly before moving on. The first thing I'm gonna do is build this lower section, and once that's complete, I'm basically gonna duplicate that up top. So I've got my frame all the way around. There's a double header or a double top plate on top to ensure that it's not kind of bowing throughout the middle and it's not flexible. We've done this a couple years in a row and had 0 issues with it, but that will just add a little extra strength, more for wind and kind of air pressure. So I'm gonna see if I can show you guys here. These, unlike a normal 2x4 wall that all of the 2x4s would be going this way, these are put on skinny wise, and more or less a little picture frame is built all the way around. And then one side gets put on, so this one is kind of primed and ready for the next piece of plexiglass. And once this part of the frame is on all the way around, another set of 2x4s get sandwiched on there to actually pinch the plexiglass in place, and that's what holds that there. So this one still needs another one, but I've got this side sheet to put on, and then another 2x4 will cover this, so you get finished edges like you guys see on this side here. So this will be the finished edge, and it looks like a pretty good window. This one's dirty already, but you guys kind of get the gist of what's going on there. All right, so in total, it took me a full afternoon and kind of into the evening to finish that up. I didn't finish it the other night because it ended up getting dark, so the footage would not have been very productive for you guys. But what it ended up taking was 4 4x8 sheets of that plexiglass, and then 4 4x6 sheets for the top layer. So you guys can see I kind of went from left to right putting those in, building that frame around it. And the way that actually works is you can see from the inside here, that's actually built right in front of the garage door. So the garage door does still open. It's not a security feature, and we're not gonna leave the gym with that being like our barrier to getting in, because somebody could probably kick one of those in if they wanted to. But when we do leave, we close the garage door. That does kind of seal us out, so that does not hinder the garage door coming up and down. Because it is just single pane, more or less, like any single pane window that would fog up, because it's just a single pane of material, it will kind of fog up. You guys can see that it's done that this morning. Since it's extra cold outside, it's kind of dropping into fall here. And it's warm inside, so everybody breathing and the temperature being up in the gym in the morning and it being cold outside does cause there to be some condensation there sometimes. but for the most part, they're like super clear. It looks like glass when they don't fog up, which is more so in the mornings. But for us, it has been an absolute game changer because there is no other windows in the gym. So during the winter, being able to have some natural light come in and not be like shocked if you take like a 4:30 class or a 5:30 class and you come in and it's daylight and you leave and it's pitch dark and it's like, how long have I been in this place? So kind of avoiding that and just having that natural light makes a drastic difference. Something else that we did in the gym a couple years ago was we updated all our lights. We had the old like fluorescent bulbs that put off a little bit more of a yellow, warmer light in the gym. In between that and not having any windows, it just kind of felt like you were working out in a basement, which isn't worse, but when you come to the gym, you want to have like a bright atmosphere that kind of gets you going, not kind of settles you down. So between the windows, or between the lights being fluorescent, bright LED bulbs, and this window, it has been a big difference for the winters as far as like morale and just kind of the energy you get to where when the sun comes up and it is coming in, it feels like daylight, you kind of get going. So whether that's the early morning classes or during the day, it makes a complete world of difference. As far as total cost goes, the shipping is actually one of the more expensive parts of this. So the sheets themselves are not terribly expensive. I believe in whole they're under $1,000 for all of them, which may sound like a lot, but we also looked into doing like glass garage doors or garage door panels, and because the door is 16 by 20, they are so expensive to do that. And we don't own this building, it's something that we lease, so it just made no sense for us. And this lasts us a couple years, so we get at least 2 years out of it. I may even do it a little bit different next year. But total cost, I think it's a little bit less than $1,000 for the entirety of the plexiglass. And then the lumber was about $400 in total, and we'll get to reuse that a couple years as well. But I think the shipping itself was like $500, which is kind of crazy. And I'm sure that's only gonna get more expensive, but if you can source this stuff locally, that would definitely save you quite a bit of money. There wasn't a whole lot of waste to it. A couple of the pieces you just gotta cut off. It's not exactly, it's a little bit shorter than 16 feet with the 2x4s in there, so they just have to be trimmed a little bit, but there's virtually no waste to them. If you guys have any questions about this, let me know. I'm happy to answer those if there's anything that I did not cover. It's worked out really well for us, and I would encourage you guys, if you've got a gym or situation like this during the winter that just kind of gets closed off, having that natural light makes a really big difference. So don't forget, like, subscribe, smash that like button, and we'll keep you guys posted.
Don't touch your baby when I'm walking the streets. I know you're feeling the heat. Believe me, don't stop me now. They're talking crazy, control all delete. Give them something to see. Believe me, don't stop me now. They don't stop me. They don't stop me. Oh, oh, oh. They don't stop me now. They don't stop me. They don't stop me. Oh, oh, oh. They don't stop me now. Like the cosmos, taking them coast to coast. Every night dropping that mic, play the wind, never giving in, no, no compromise. What you tell them?